It's the Jack Tomczak Show.
Welcome back to the Jack Tomczak Show. We just say goodbye to State Senator Michelle Benson. She's not the only one, of course, running for governor. We'll have the rest on soon as well. Joining us now over the phone, Osseo School Board member Tanya Simons. Hi, Tanya.
Hey, Jack.
So, what happened this week in your school board meeting? Because I told my listeners it was amazing. It was going to blow their minds. So it better be amazing and blow their minds.
Well, we had another vote, this one to extend our masking mandate in the Osseo Area School District. So there were quite a number of parents that showed up to share the experiences and their concerns about continuing to mask kids. We've had a lot of parents emailing the school board, looking at the data, and just really questioning whether it's a mask mandate should continue when we're beginning to see studies turn and show that there are negative impacts of masking. And so many parents wanted to come and express that concern to the board.
All right. What are the negative impacts of masking?
So certainly mental health is at the top of that list. And that was one of the main concerns that a lot of parents have expressed. There's also questions about how kids feel in terms of their regular health in terms of sore throats, runny noses, and potential spread of germs while wearing masks. We had a teacher write in and email the board sharing just kind of what's happening in the kindergarten class and how kind of filthy the masks are getting, and they're touching them, sucking them, dropping them on the floor, picking them back up. So there's the germ side. This teacher also expressed her concerns about being able to teach kids to read when they can't see her mouth, and when she wears a face shield, they can't hear her voice. So she just illustrated some of the negative impacts that students have in terms of their learning from teachers wearing masks as well. So just a lot of different viewpoints on this particular vote that we were taking.
It never occurred to me the filthiness aspect, because the younger children get, the grosser they are. And dropping something existing in a kindergarten environment handled by a 5-6-year-old and then stuck onto that kid's face, probably not good.
No.
And I know with my kids, my youngest boy child being 7, and he's my little mask rule follower. He's also he's not taken a shower to my knowledge in quite some time. And I wash masks whenever I come upon a mask that's dirty. He never turns one in and says, "Hey, Dad, this one's done. You're going to need to clean it." Like, there are better parents out there who probably are better at this than I am. But if you have a filthy kid and an irresponsible parent, that equals a mask that never gets washed and then is just repeatedly like part of the kid's breathing every single day at school.
Yeah, and that's just one piece of it, but the bigger piece really is mental health. And the fact that teachers can't hear kids speaking, kids can't hear teachers, kids can't hear each other. And so they're not having the normal social interaction and learning experience that they would in the school environment. So they're really, we're happy kids are back. And that's an interesting message that in my district, we keep telling kids, like, we just want to keep you there. We want to keep you in school. And as long as you wear the mask, stay in school. And so during the course of the meeting, I shared some information in terms of benchmarking districts that showed that there are a number of districts around us that have a mask choice policy. So certainly people should have the freedom to wear a mask or not wear a mask. And so the statistics between school districts in terms of COVID was pretty a negligible difference, and those kids were still in school. So I did articulate the fact that we can take masks off and still remain safely in school. And that will help with the academic experience for our children and really address some of those negative social interactions that kids are having, not having the full experience of school. There's a ton of behavior issues in schools. And some are saying that that's specifically and directly linked to the disruption in learning, for one, that we had, and the continued mask wearing. So again, parents came to express their experiences.
Now, as somebody who would rather kids not be masked, you said that with a mask choice scenario, you'd be fine with kids choosing to wear a mask. How is the other side? How are the pro-maskers handling kids who don't want to wear a mask or would rather not? Are they empathetic? Are they flippant? Like how are the adults treating
Right. Well,
the folks who'd rather not wear masks?
Yes. At our particular meeting, we had a young girl come and speak to us, an elementary schooler, and share about how the mask makes her feel. And there was her sibling was there as well. Actually, there were two different families. So this was an elementary school girl that spoke, and there was another family there, and a mother that had brought her son because her son was experiencing negative mental health, exacerbated mental health declines because of the masking and what's happened over the past year. So that parent, those parents came and spoke. Another school board member began to lecture the parents during the course of the conversation on the vote and tell them that there was no evidence of what they were telling us was happening to their children.
Don't believe your own lying eyes.
Yes. And in fact, during the course of her statements, or lecture rather, she said that the impact of mental health on children is insignificant. And the young boy in the audience shouted out, "It's not, that's me." And his mom shouted, "It's not, he's sitting right here." The chair then gavelled to silence them. The board member looked directly at this little boy and said, "It is insignificant." And this boy was made to feel that he was insignificant. Mm-hmm. So this parent expressed to me, she said that this school board director, looked her child in the eyes and told him he essentially didn't matter.
That's the worst thing you can do to a kid, by the way, is tell them they don't matter. They turn into adults who feel they don't matter, then make all kinds of bad choices so they can matter.
Yeah, the parent then emailed me later that evening and shared with me that her son was so distraught over that event that she, as moms do, they snuggle up their kids in the evening, and that she snuggled him up and he cried himself to sleep because of the vote and because of how he was treated in that meeting. And she shared with me her appreciation because during my comments, I obviously addressed that and said that we have no right to tell parents that their kids are not experiencing what they're experiencing. And we have an obligation to hear their stories and to respond to it. So she was appreciative and communicated that at least one board member felt that her son was significant. And so that was really impactful to me and why I do the work that I do.
30 seconds. What should parents do if their kids are not doing well with the mask situation at their school? Now 20 seconds because I was talking.
Keep showing up. Keep advocating. Don't be told your child is not experiencing what they're experiencing. Email your boards. Show up to their board meetings. Do not quit. Thanks
for listening to the Jack Tomczak Show on AM 1280 The Patriot. Hey, stop being a freeloader and get over to jacktomczak.com and join the Patreon movement. All right, now we're in podcast land, Tanya. Loosen up a little bit. And you're naming names on this person? Are you... I know I talked to you into coming on. Are you going to, like, from what you described earlier, this pissed you off? It's a podcast. I can say that. You don't have to because you're elected. But this is not good.
Yeah, I was furious when it came after I watched that lecture, after I watched that exchange, after I watched families get gavelled. I was very furious. And so during my remarks, I reiterated what families had been telling us. Director Tamra Grady, who was a school board director who took that action, said those things, lectured parents, started laughing. So she started laughing while I was reiterating that parents were saying that their kids were experiencing academic declines, mental health declines, social emotional declines. She started laughing. So I stopped mid-sentence. You can go watch our school board meetings. I stopped and I looked at her. I said, "Are you laughing?" And she snickered and she's like, "No." I'm like, "Do you think that this is a laughing matter?" And then I said, "I will not allow you to lecture our families. I will not allow you to laugh at our families." And then I got gavelled.
So this is the Osseo school board director. She's on the school board.
Yeah, it's another.
It's like the head of the board.
We're school board. No, that we have a chair. The chair does the gaveling. So
What is
We're
the
all
director
called
do?
a school board member is called a director. That's our official title.
That's dumb. Tamara. Okay. What are you gonna do with all this? You know? Yep.
Well, we have had some families email us expressing a lot of frustration with observing that type of treatment because earlier in the evening we actually had student board members, what we call student board members. So we have representatives.
Are they directors too?
No, but they are student representatives that come to the board. And so the students that were there observing the public comments by families, and actually teachers were there too, because we had another issue of there's a sub shortage. Teachers are burned out. They're not having time to prep. They're covering each other's classrooms because there's literally no subs. Where there are some school districts that are to the point where they may need to cancel classes for the day if they don't have a teacher.
Can any Yahoo be a substitute teacher?
Anybody with a bachelor's degree, you can.
I have one of those.
They pay well. They actually do pay well. So these students had watched all of the public comments, and so we school board members get a chance to ask the students a question. So during that time, I communicated to the student representatives, and I said that as they had just observed, one of the most important jobs of a school board member is to listen directly to stakeholders, to listen what they have to say to you when they share their experiences and share what's happening. And that even if it's challenging to hear, even if you disagree with it, that's your job. Your job is to listen and to take that information in and really respectfully and empathetically. Because these people they're coming on camera in the public, not a comfortable thing to do. So I had already kind of communicated that earlier in the evening, that's an important part of our job. And then to see somebody completely disregard that was really frustrating. And so we did have some people begin to write in, comment on social media, just how frustrating it was to see a school board member behave in that way. Because even if she disagrees, even if that school board member thinks that the parents are crazy for saying that, they deserve to be respected in the public square. They're still her constituents.
The least attractive quality in an elected person is arrogance.
Yeah.
And especially for school board where you're dealing with parents and the subject matter is children, like you got to have a softer touch and some empathy wouldn't hurt.
Well, here's the problem. The entire theme right now of this challenge of parents becoming aware of what their kids are being taught, kind of what's happening in the school system, they have a right to come and express that. There's an NBC article I just got today that was talking about parents concerned about curriculum. Mm-hmm. And the opinion of that writer, the scholarly opinion, this highly educated person who I believe was a teacher in the article, said that parents need to stay out of the classroom because they have no business. They're not education experts. They have no business telling school districts, superintendents, or school boards how to teach their children or what to teach them. So this is the degree of arrogance that is out there regarding parents who are choosing to engage. I mean, the National School Board Association, as you might know, wrote to the Biden administration calling parents who come speak out at school board meetings domestic terrorists. So this arrogance is probably not new. It's just now visible.
The conventional wisdom about the losses that the left took in this past election all hinges on this issue.
Yeah.
Certainly I think that's true in Virginia with what's his name who lost. Did we see those? Did that trend continue into Minnesota?
Well, some of
in my school district they didn't. All the bad people won.
In the metro, it
Why is that
didn't. But if you look at some of the conservative news outlets, they are claiming big wins on this issue. And that may be true outstate. And they did cite a few races where candidates won on this issue. But in some pretty key races in the metro, slates of candidates ran on critical race theory and being opposed to critical race theory, and they lost. So now you have to be thoughtful and mindful about that topic, because most people have no idea what CRT is. And if you talk about it in a political way or in a politicized fashion, most people are going to be turned off because and this whole idea of slates of candidates is also problematic because I don't think that the majority of parents want their school boards to be political. They don't want them to be left or right. And
Agreed.
in those districts, those races got turned into political races. It got turned into Republican versus Democrat, left versus right. And the conservative candidate, so to speak, lost. So that issue, the issue of parental rights, the issue of parents being first educator, the issue of parents should have a voice over their children in the school is a winning issue. But it can be completely bungled. And I think we saw that happen. So I think we just have to understand how to communicate to parents and how to do so with authenticity and empathy. That this is really about, from a school board perspective, education should be about the most rigorous academic, holistic, full education, sports, the whole student experience. That's what parents care about. They care about what are the academic opportunities for my child in a school district and in the classroom, and what's that kind of that full surround of the school experience.
So are you available to help people who want to run on this or are interested in this? Because like I've run for office twice and I've lost because my way of doing campaign is just proving how dumb the other person is. And I don't understand why that doesn't work because frankly, it should work. Why would you want to vote for the dumb person? But that does not work. And if I were to run for school board and bring up critical race theory, I would bungle it because I would demonize the other person for being an idiot. And experience tells me that doesn't work. So Can people talk to you and learn how to do it the right way?
Absolutely. I'm always happy to talk with people about my experience. Another consideration too, in terms of educational issues is teachers, we have to have a pro-teacher message. We have to demonstrate that we understand what teachers are experiencing in the classroom right now, the workload that they're under, the fact that they're asked to be everything to a child.
And after last year's distance learning stuff,
yes, it's a mess.
How can any parent not look at teachers in a different light and have like a better opinion and more empathy for the stuff they have to do every day?
Yeah, it's been a real challenge all around, and teachers deserve our support. Teachers deserve our respect. And most teachers are they're a mentor to your child. They're if you think about as you become an adult, how many times have you gone back and talked to a teacher that said, you made this significant difference in my life? Teachers and coaches are some of the most significant, important people in kids' lives. And we need to demonstrate that we respect them and we value them and we understand what's happening to them because of bad decisions at the level of the governor, the MDE, and now MDH. We have to walk alongside them, not demonize them. And so that's another consideration point. I'm always happy to share my perspective on what I see and how I think that we can communicate what we're about. I mean, I've always been about that. Who are we as Republicans? What do we stand for? And how do we communicate that to people effectively?
I'm working on that. All right. Thank you. We're way past the 8 minutes you promised me, so I appreciate you coming on. And thank you very much. And good luck with your school board stuff.
All right.
And
thanks.
We should talk more because this Tamara Grady, that whole thing that you described, more people need to know about that.
Yeah, they do.
So I'll find that video and I'll share it. All right. Thanks, Tanya.
Thanks.